Good evening, SBC. Good evening, SBCC. Good evening, BSL. Good evening to all points north, south, east, and west. Welcome to the April 5th, 2022 edition of SBC Tuesday Talk. Glad you can join us. Glad you can spend your Tuesday evening with us. With that said, I am your host. I am your head chef, and I'm your van driver, Mr. Michael Walker. Glad to have y'all here. Glad that you can join us. And we got a pretty interesting show tonight, though. And of course, we have a good conversation. And of course, we're looking forward to what you have to say on tonight. So without further ado, we'll present our tonight's panelists. Okay. And here we go. Starting on my left, we got, and she's a newbie, y'all. So y'all treat her good, though. Is Angela from New York, from the state of New York. And okay. And we have from South Carolina, we got Reginald Balders to give us some nuggets this evening. And from New Jersey, we have Shell. She's returned back. So we didn't do it wrong last week. So glad to have you here. Glad to have y'all here. Okay. I'm trying to think which one I want to start with. You know what? We'll start with this right here. Then it's going to lead to the main topic of what we're talking about. Okay. Marrying at your level of esteem. Now, does that mean that you're realizing that you shouldn't be asking for too much in a mate? Or does that mean that you're afraid to attempt to ask for something more than what you think? Anyone want to jab this? Oh, wait a minute. Hold up, y'all. I didn't welcome my people. Wait. Hold up. I get back with y'all. Hold up. I didn't welcome my people. I'm so sorry, y'all. I am so sorry. Wait a minute. Good evening, Charlene. How you doing? Andrea, good to have you. Michael McKeever, good. Kitty McCat, great to see you. Great to see you, Charlene, again. Angela Madison, what you doing out in the audience? Margaret, glad to always have you here. Pam Bracy, good to have you here. Karen Minto, always good to see you here. Stacy Burton, good to see you. Crystal Smith, good to see you. Andrea again. Denise, good to see you. And Sherry, great to see you. Oh, who else? Kimberly Murphy, glad to always see you. Okay, back to our regular scheduled program. Now, again, marrying at your level of esteem. Now, I know y'all had time to think about it just then, though. So, what's your thoughts on that? That and the beauty viewing audience. Marrying at your level of esteem.
Could you give an example of what that might be?
Okay. I like that. Maybe if someone may be timid, or maybe socially awkward, and they're afraid to seek out someone who's not that way, and they would tend to seek out someone who is just like them or similar. So that's pretty much it right there.
So people who don't want to come out their comfort zone.
That's even better. That's even better.
Now, I took it slightly different, right?
Okay.
So
go ahead.
I took it that a person that struggles with self-esteem is willing to accept in a relationship, a marriage, a certain level versus someone who is comfortable, knows their worth, demands better treatment.
Mm-hmm.
So for instance, in my marriage at the time, my self-esteem was not where it needed to be. So I put up with and allowed a lot of things in treatment that, quite frankly, were beneath me.
Mm-hmm.
But because I didn't think more of myself,
mm-hmm.
I accepted it at that time.
Mm-hmm.
So if you don't think highly of yourself, if you don't know who you are, if you don't know if you don't understand and realize what the Lord thinks about you, right? And what you're worthy of as one of his children, and you just want someone or feel like you need someone or need to be with someone or even need to be married to fit in a box, you're willing to accept things that are quite beneath you and treatment that is beneath you. So that's how I took it, marrying at your level of esteem.
That's a good explanation as well. That's a good wait, who? Oh, okay. Yeah, that was a good explanation as well, though. We have Sister Madison. Do you have anything to chime in on this one?
I look at it as also very similar of marrying in somewhat of likeness to yourself and how you not only view yourself, but how that person views themselves. Like she was saying, if I view myself, even though the Bible says that you shouldn't think more highly than you ought to think, doesn't mean that don't think good about yourself. Just don't think more highly than you should of yourself. So if I think of myself as a successful person, someone who's motivated, someone who is determined to do good, then I want to be attracted to someone and have someone come into my space that is also successful, that is also motivated to do that type of similar things. It would be very difficult for me to couple up with someone who is in a sense kind of dragging, unmotivated, doesn't value success in the way that I value. Doesn't mean that they have to do the same identical things that I do, but if they don't play success in the same level of trying to go after things, or they don't want to build, if they don't want to create. So I look at that in that sense, that you have to kind of be equally yoked. That's what it comes down to. Be equally yoked and like-minded in that sense of esteem.
Okay, and that's an interesting take on that as well, though. And I guess the bottom line in that is, well, don't be afraid to settle for what you think, well, better than what you feel, I reckon. And with that said, this is a good we was going to touch on this right quick because it kind of slides into the next topic, which is the main event of this Tuesday Talk. And here we go. Hypergamy and gold digging. Is there a difference? Hypergamy and gold digging. Is there a difference? Now, no, we're going to get these definitions. First, let's attack gold digger because we know what a gold digger is. But gold digger, a person who forms relationships with others purely to extract money for them. In particular, a woman who strives to marry a wealthy man. And for the record, it can apply to a man striving to marry a wealthy woman. It can go both ways. Now, that is a gold digger right there. Hypergamy, on the other hand, hypergamy, the action of marrying or forming a sexual relationship with a person of a superior sociological and educational background. So, in both scenarios, the person who's extracting money or getting the money is looking for someone that's can do something for them. Whereas the gold digger, you getting money, you getting valuable goods, tangible goods. Whereas hypergamy, you might be getting those things and then maybe a higher social status. At least that's the way I look at that. But then either way it goes, though, you're still trying to get money though from or tangible goods from that person via relationship. So panel and audience, is there a difference? I just said my thoughts about it. Is there a difference?
Well, I think they kind of interchange. There is a segment of society who feels that they are entitled to things, that they shouldn't have to work to obtain things. They feel that somebody needs to take care of them so they can reach the depths of society that they want to do, but they're not willing to work for it themselves. So they pick someone that will help them get there. Um, when a woman uh, looks at a man for his pocketbook, you know, there was a comment of a brother that I saw. He says that black men need to stop giving black women money because are you giving them money to impress them, or are you giving money to keep them? Now, the difference in that is you meet this young lady and y'all decide to go to a restaurant on your first date and you take her to Ruthie's Crisp. Okay. The bill comes back to the table over $100-some. And you pull out the credit card to pay for it. And then on the way home, you got to figure out how in the way you're going to pay that bill off. And then a couple of weeks later, she wants to go to a fine restaurant. And you said, well, I can't do that. So in other words, but if she gets angry with it, then that tells me right then and there that you're not in it for me. You're in it for what you can get from me. Because if she wasn't in it for me, she would have simply said, not a problem, baby. I got it. You know, and that tells me right there she's not a gold digger. She's not looking for something. Women in 2022 are different than in some ways back in the day. Women now are more independent. They're raising their own kids. They got their own houses. They got good jobs. And a lot of these women don't even need a man. They may want a man, but they don't need a man for financial stability or for social status or whatever. You know, like those in Hollywood, like Beyonce. She don't even use her last name. Just call her Beyonce. You know, so it's all depending on the individual. And you, like I said, you got some women and some men that, like I said, they feel they're entitled. Well, I ain't got to do that. I go find me a man to get my head down. I go find me a man to give me some money. Well, what's wrong with you get off your butt and get a job and making your own money? You know, and have yourself independent. But like I said, you got that small section of society, on male and female, that feel that they're entitled, that somebody is going to take care of them because they're too lazy to take care of themselves.
And that made me think when you mentioned the first date. I think the first date, and how much you said that bill would be, Reginald? 100 and something.
I was just throwing out a figure.
I know, 100 and some odd dollars. And a friend of mine told me about this, that you don't start off spending that type of money because guess what? Then they'll keep expecting it the next time, then the next time, and the next time. And then when you're unable to do it, then that's when all hell breaks loose. Yeah. Then that's when the real person shows up.
Yeah.
So you
taking a Riff Cruiser when you need to be checking on the McDonald's. That's about what you can afford.
Yeah. Well, let me read what Nicole Stewart says. There's a difference, I believe. There could be an attraction to power and influence, not necessarily money, when it comes to hypergamy, as opposed to gold digging. And Kitty McCat says, yes, there's a difference. As you stated, hypergamy seems to be more about achieving a perceived, quote, higher status or class in life, which does not necessarily equal greater wealth. Also, hypergamy seems to imply that this person seeks to maintain this status, whereas gold digging can be an act inflicted upon various people, or possibly fleeting. And Teresa says, I think there's a difference. One for money, one for marriage or sexual relationship. So, with the hypergamy, do they really want to seek that status? And does it matter how much money that person has? As long as like they known in the community or they known on local television, the economics don't matter to them, but does it? I mean, what do y'all think?
I think with the hypergamy,
Mm-hmm.
like the others have said, it's often based upon just the status, the role the person can play in the community.
Mm-hmm.
And it can be a trickle down effect as to how that's going to allow that other person to feel. Because I look at it like it's leveling up. The person may not have that much as far as financial wealth, but what does that person represent in the community? Is that person someone who's considered a leader, someone everyone depends upon? You can take someone who could be one of those poor preachers, but that's the person everyone, in a sense, like we went back to the word highly esteemed, we go to that person, but they're struggling. But because of the role that they play, they're vital to the community. They know that they're helping other people. They're a source of inspiration to other people. Some people seek out, and we know this to be true. Some people will seek out those who are in ministerial roles because of the status that they hold. It's going to make them look good. It's going to make them look some sort of almost religiously elevated to be by their side. So they will go and say, well, I'm just looking for a preacher. Why? You ain't even picked up your Bible. But that's who they're going to look for because that's the person that's, most famous. Why do people often look for the musicians in the church? Because they have that status role. So a lot of times it's not so much based on money, like someone said, the financial piece with the gold digger, it can be fleeting. It can just bypass. And also I wanted to say, a lot of times with hypergamy, it can be very cultural. You look in different cultures around the world, it is designed for you to marry up. You could take that woman out of the village and she's supposed to go and present herself to that man
Mm-hmm.
who's more status related, who has a better role. So the long-term effect is the family will be more secure. He might
Mm-hmm.
not make that much more money than anyone else, but his status, maybe he came from a better family. So the ideal is at some point in time, maybe the money portion will come along.
And you mentioned the pastor, and I've always been, I guess, baffled, like you say, how so many people want to flock to try to be the first lady or the next first lady, regardless of their financial status. He could be driving a Bentley and what have you, live in a nice big house on the big side of town. On the other hand, he could be driving a Dodge Aries K, and
Mhm.
you know he has a hot house or what have you, though. But it's something about that power that
Exactly.
I never understood when I was a deacon, at least in my home church. Same thing. you know Before I was a deacon, I didn't get spoken to. When I got
Mm.
ordained, hey, Deacon Walker, how you doing?
Mm.
you know so I don't know. It's something. And well, I don't know if I should say this on here or not, though. I just say it right now. Sometimes I get it in
You get what?
SBC and
Oh, I'm sorry.
uh Shell, what you got to say?
No, finish your thought, sir. Finish your thought.
No, I wanna be nice. Go ahead.
Angela said it all, right? So she really did. She said it all. It's that power pull. It is. It's absolutely that power pull. And how can you pull yourself up the ranks to be seen and feel powerful? It's not, I don't think it's money based,
Mm,
not the hypergamy. I don't.
I don't
I
know.
don't.
Oh, I'm sorry. I don't know if y'all familiar with the BBC comedy. keeping up appearances. And the lady, Hyacinth Bouquet or Hyacinth Bucket, depending on how you pronounce the last name, she's middle class, but she was always trying to be part of the upper crust. Always trying to impress big people so they could accept her end, though. And I always wondered why. And then I had to wonder, is that an esteem issue, though? Do you think being in a higher esteem will cause more people to like you or at least respect you? So I have to wonder about that. Theodore says, to answer the question, I feel like there's a difference. A gold digger is clearly someone who's after money. Hypergamy is about a social status, but that person could still be broke, especially if they still in student loan debt. I get that right there. Now wait, Nicole says true, only black women are villainized. Only black women are villainized for wanting to marry up. Is that the case? We got two sisters in here. Is that really the case? Are only the sisters scrutinized for wanting to marry up?
I think it might appear that way. I'm not going to say it's not the case, but it does appear that way because it seems like anytime we want to step out of our zone and move up a notch, it's looked down upon. It's like, okay, why are you trying to do that? You should stay in your comfort zone, stay right where you are, or stay in your place. But in all things, you can do things with tactfulness. It doesn't mean that you got to go chase and be all up in the pastor's face or all up in the lawyer's face. But even if that's what you choose to do, it's like, why can't you go mingle where the lawyers and the doctors hang out at? Why can't you go to those social affairs? Go where the Philharmonic people hang out at. But it's like, if we're doing things like that, we're looked at as we're crazy. We don't know what social events to really be at. We got to just stick in the bars and the slop houses somewhere. That's not correct. We should be able to socialize on that higher level so we can attract the people that we desire to have in our lives. If that's what our interests are, it's almost like penalizing us for wanting to be educated and socialized on a higher level. So to a degree, I definitely agree with that statement. I mean, it goes back to when you're in school and you want to attain a higher level of education, you're ostracized, you're called a nerd, you're put in that corner. That's not fair.
Hey, I understand that right there. No. I saw a good comment on here. Where was it? Where was it? Teresa says, when men flash their money, it's actually a turnoff for me. Okay. So that means that's the only thing they could depend on, personality wise. Rochelle says, I believe hypergamy can be passive. Status and position can be very attractive and can easily be confused with true attraction. But I wonder, what if there's an actual true physical attraction, though? They the complete package. They have the finances, the position, and the true attraction. But then it goes back to what she said right here. I don't think we okay. I don't think we're scrutinized. I think we're envied. Okay. What was that one right here? It goes back to the argument we have in the group sometimes. What are you bringing to the table? You're asking where he has to have this or she has to have that. Well, okay. Are you are you on the same line as that person that you desire? Are you what you desire? So
A couple of examples of that would be, women who hang around NBA players.
mm,
Okay. Another one would be a worker in a congressman office that's got our eyes that on a congressman. He don't have to flash his money. We know he got money. So people got money, they ain't got to flash it. Folks that's got to flash money. What are you saying about yourself? You got to let people know what you got? No, your status symbol automatically tells people you got money. If you an NBA star in the NBA, you got money. If you're an NFL star, you got money. If you are a congressman, you got money. If you're the president of the United States, you got money. If you're the chief of surgery, you got money. So you don't have to go around throwing money around. Folks know what you got. They know you ain't hurting for money. So is money a reason to go after them? Maybe. But most of the time it's like, I want to be on that arm of the individual, because if I'm connected to him or connected to her, where can I go with that? So sometimes it's all about networking to get you where you want to go. Now, sometimes that develops into love, and sometimes it don't, So it's up to the individual. But yeah, like, girl, you came up, you had the district attorney, and you wasn't but a law clerk, and maybe she aspired to be a district attorney. Birds of a feather, what? Flock together. So is that wrong? No. Now, if you use it for the wrong purpose, yeah. But if you're using it to get into that circle, to learn your way around, because if you've never been in that circle, you don't know how to operate in that circle. So you need to get with people that operates in that circle so they can let you know what's going on. So you won't be like a fish out of water. So no. And sometimes relationships happen as a result of that. You might get lucky and marry a billionaire. That wasn't your intent at first, but it happened.
And now, this was some late information we got prior to the show. I mean, it was like almost breaking news. I'm about to post up here, but let me post what Sonia Neal says. I feel Black women are expected to stay in the economic socialism we are in, and if we make the move to date or marry up, we are looked at as we think we are better than everyone. Do y'all sisters agree with her statement?
I agree with that.
Yeah. And at first I wanted to say not really, but one of the things that came flooding to my mind is always seeing in a lot of the groups, the complaint that especially Black women don't want to, take time with the brothers that don't have the good jobs, or they don't want to. And it's like one of those things where we're just automatically expected to want to give everybody a chance just because they're a Black man. And is that fair? Right? Is that really fair? Like Angela said, we're not supposed to want to be in different rooms and in different experiences, and we're just automatically supposed to stay at a certain level or look at a certain level or accept a certain level. Is that really fair?
And I don't think so. I don't think so.
The problem with we as a people have that crab barrel mentality. As soon as we see one getting up, we try to pull them down with scandals, with, throwing dags at them and things like this, because they have the initiative and the drive and desire to get ahead. But because you too trifling and too lazy, you want to break them down. And instead of being rejoiceful and praising them and giving them that, we do the very opposite. You pull them down, Well, who he think he is, who she thinks she is. It shouldn't be about that. And, the Jews, they don't do that. They're rejoiceful when them Jews get up. They all forward. But us as Black folk, no. You think that a lot of Black folks are happy that Barack Obama was the first Black president? No. Who do you think he is being president? Instead of rejoicing with the man's accomplished a great deal. But we got this mentality in our minds that where it came from, I don't know. But it's like we black folks don't deserve good stuff. And when we get good stuff, we get angry, we get upset. Well, how you get those? You must be selling, just like you driving a fancy car. Or you must be selling drugs. No, this man worked for that money, he got a job. So it's that mentality that we as a black people have that we really need to get out of.
I totally agree with that statement that it goes across the board of having that crab syndrome. And what is so difficult to accept and understand is that we as the Black women, we're still supposed to sit here and nurture and support our brothers. And that's the thing. If they're exceeding, we're supposed to root them on, support them, cover them in prayer. But a lot of times when it comes down to Black women achieving, we can sometimes get with each other and continue to say, all right, queen, do good, go ahead on. But sometimes from our men, we don't get that same support. That's where it starts to break down. We don't get that same covering. We don't get that same prayer. We don't get that same support. It's now looked at as, okay, she's trying to be better than me. She's trying to rise up above me. She's trying to keep me down. She don't appreciate a good man. No, if I can rise up, I can keep rising up with you. I want to keep bringing you up, my brother. We can rise up together.
Right.
Just because I rise up, I'm not trying to put my foot down on your neck. It ain't about that.
Mm-hmm.
She done said a word, okay? Because she speaks truth. Because you don't know how many times I've heard things like, "Oh, you think you're all that because you got a master's degree." No, I think that I was just trying to further myself, and I think that they didn't stop allowing people to earn them, right? So if that's what your goal is. Oh, well, you would never talk to somebody who doesn't have one. Why wouldn't I? People make assumptions, right? People make assumptions that you think you're better than them, or you think you're this, or and that's not the case.
I have a personal experience with this. I have a family member whose child at that time was 12 years old. He brought his report card home with straight A's on it. His daddy punched him in the chest. Crab barrel mentality. Oh, you think you're smarter than I am. So, yeah, it happens all the time in families. Sometimes parents can be the worst enemy in the house. Because the child is exceeding and doing better than they did. Now, that's how it's supposed to go. Your child is supposed to do better than you. But a lot of parents are insecure about that. Like, oh, no, you ain't. Who you think you are? Got this educated degree. So that mentality is what's keeping a lot of us down. But thankfully, some people can rise above all that. Like, hey, the same God that allowed me to go to college, to allow me to graduate, to allow me to have this nice house, this nice car, will do the same for you. God does not respect a person, place, a thing. He can bless you as well. He can bless somebody else. So, we have to do better as a people.
And you know what? That made me think. One of y'all said one of y'all said something that made me think that the opposite could happen. In other words, one of us can succeed, but don't want someone below us to succeed. That can happen too. Is they feel like they have to be the superior one in the neighborhood or in the circle of friends or anywhere. So it could be, I call that reverse crab barrel mentality.
It happens a lot in siblings. A whole lot of times, sisters and brothers. You know, they don't like the, you know, the one to outdo the other, you know. So it happens quite often. I see it all the time.
And yes. Angela Manson, we must do better. Rochelle says you can get a degree but can't keep a man. That's crazy right there. You know, Lee Jules says that's so true. My mom despised me because I got my own apartment at 18. I'm like this. If I had children, I would be happy, peacock proud that they doing better than me. I want them to do better. But that's just me right there. Kitty McCass says, I've heard it many times during my life. My children have it as well. Definitely been told that my success doesn't leave room. Wow. Definitely been told that my success doesn't leave room for a mate. What are these folks thinking? Wow, that's something. But quickly, you got some good information. Well, pertinent information right here. Hypergamy. Hypergamy is the act of marrying someone of a lower social and economic class than your own. Hypergamy has been found to be practiced more by men than by women. So, and I'm gonna be honest with y'all, I had never heard of that word until tonight. I just only thought it was hypergamy until Sister Angela told me, "Oh, it's hypergamy." I thought she was being facetious, so I had to look it up myself. Like, oh wow, so they got a term for that though. Okay, and they making it seem like mostly men do it. Well, I know some sisters that have done it, and they pretty happy, I suppose. Key word, I suppose. So, yeah, with that said, though, we're going to move on to our next topic, though. But before we do that, y'all know the key. like,
subscribe, and share.
Yeah, do that. Please do that. Okay. Last week, and this was from last week, but I didn't have my props ready. I saw this tweet, and it was an interesting tweet. And it reads as follows. Had dinner with a dude who did not compliment me once. I thought that was really weird. I haven't spoken to him since. At no point was I expecting compliments. The absence of the acknowledgement of my effort just shows me that he might not be attracted to me, which is okay. And even if he is, I still prefer a more vocal partner. Hence, I didn't force him to compliment me. I simply cut him off. I'm not dating anyone that I have to tell to compliment me. I'm too self-assured to do that. Affirming me and making me feel like I'm the only girl in the room is romance 101. That's what I'm accustomed to when I date, and I won't settle just because he ticks other boxes. So, right here, are compliments on first dates necessary? Are compliments on first dates necessary?
Well, I was on a date 2 Sundays ago, and the young lady was complimenting my appearance, and it made me feel uneasy. Because that was nothing that I was expecting. And after the dinner was over with and we hugged and we got in our vehicles, I texted her and let her know that I thought she was very attractive. First, you really don't know how the compliment is going to be taken. You know, sometimes you can compliment a woman and tell how beautiful she looks, and her mind goes somewhere else. You know, what, and except it could be just you're attracted to her on a physical basis. But to say that's necessary on a first meeting, well, first of all, you're trying to fill each other out. I mean, if there is a second date, then obviously there was some attraction. If there ain't no second date, ain't no second call and no texting, obviously they didn't like what they saw. And so why do you have to say it when you first meeting somebody? Get to know them before you start making Google eyes at them and giving pet names and all that other stuff. No, so kind of, to me, it's not necessary. Now you can say you look nice, but you cut it at that. Then if you want to say something later on, yeah, but nah. Like I said, I'm like, I don't like a lot of praise given to me, because who am I? I'm just a child of God. I don't need you to tell me I look this and I look that. It's fine, but I don't demand that, because when I look in the mirror, I gotta be satisfied with what I'm looking at. If I ain't satisfied with what I'm looking at, then how can I expect somebody else to be? So I'm like, no, me personally, you don't have to do that. Now down the road, I'm in my suit. Oh, you better say something.
I get that. I understand. When I get cleaned up, please say something. Please say something. And I tried. I was interested because I'm here, ain't I? It didn't work. Okay, ladies.
I think for myself, it kind of depends on the type of atmosphere we're in. If we're just meeting up for coffee or, just a general place, I don't need the compliment. I'm okay with me knowing that, hey, I stepped out and I feel good about myself. But if we're deliberately going to maybe a fancier restaurant where everybody's kind of trying to make a first impression, he's decked out, I'm decked out, it would just be nice as common courtesy, like, hey, you look nice, or wow, I like your hair, or something, because you're knowing that you're putting that much more effort into it. I'm not just here generally in, something, everyday kind of wear just to say, hey, I'm here at Starbucks or Dunkin' Donuts to meet you for some coffee. But I think certain areas kind of require a little bit more emphasis, and you do want just an acknowledgement of that effort that was put in. If you don't get it, then that's okay. And again, like he said, if you don't get the compliment, it's not going to be a make or break, because everyone's not comfortable getting that. And when it starts to be too much, now I'm wondering, why are you paying all this attention to me? What's your agenda here? If you say, oh, you look nice. Oh, I like that on you. Oh, that's shaping you nice. Oh, okay, now this is over. I need to go, because I'm feeling like you might start to have octopus arms and stuff. So it really does depend on the atmosphere for me, but it's not really that much of a requirement.
And Marcus says this. I agree with the tweet. Compliments are extremely necessary. If I go on a date, I will acknowledge the lady in the room. Some may not have to agree with me, but compliments are priceless sentiments to verbalize when addressing your mate. And
sometimes it don't have to be verbal. Your eyes says it all. You ain't got to say a word. If that's the come on and she dropped dead gorgeous, your eyes will say what your mouth ain't saying. She know that you like what you see. Also, you ain't got to say, baby, you look dropped. No, your eyes, baby, tell me everything I need to know. So there ain't always got to be verbal. Sometimes it can be non-verbal.
Shell?
I don't think that it's necessary on a first date, right? So, like Angela said, it's nice. Like, oh, you look nice. Oh, I like that dress or whatever. That's nice to hear. But yeah, if it's too much on a first date, then it makes me kind of feel like you're a little creepy. Like if it's just like, you know what I mean? If it goes into, yeah, you wearing them jeans. I see what you working with. Yeah, go ahead, sit right there. I want to watch you walk away. Whoa, 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 whoa. You're in creep land. Yeah, I'm feeling very uncomfortable. But a simple, oh, you look very nice, or oh, I like your hair like that. That's very different, but it's not necessary on a first date. It's not like if you don't do that, I'm not going to talk to you again. Like, I don't get that.
It's the first time I saw this young lady I saw on Duo on camera. But when I saw her in person, oh my God. You know, I didn't have to say anything. My facial expressions said it all. I was like, oh my God. Wow. I had to say nothing. My, you know, some people, you know, their facial expressions speak volumes. You know, you communicate just by how you look at certain things. You know, when you don't like what you see, you know, like, oh well. But when you like what you see, oh yeah, you got a smile on your face. There's something in your eyes, and that goes both ways with the female. You know, yeah, you can tell that she into you. She ain't gotta say one word. Her body language, the way she looks at you, the smile on her face says it all. She ain't got to say a thing to you. It's just how she looks at you says it all. So it's like I said, it always ain't got to be verbal. Now the second date, oh yeah, it's time to, you know, because you know, on that first date, you did your icebreakers. You're starting to get a feel about each other. And yeah, okay, the second time, because if you go out on the second date, obviously there's interest there. Obviously there's some attraction there. And so, yeah, at that particular time, okay, yeah, man, you look better this time than I did on the first time I saw you. But first impressions are the lasting ones. You know, so, you know, it don't always have to be verbal. It could be non-verbal. Like I said, she knew I was very happy with what I saw. I ain't said a word. My facial expression said it all.
Ooh, okay. Lee Jules says that's why before people should make sure not to bring traumatic experience to dating. People heal before engaging. And I could, you know, they might have been in a childhood where mom and daddy didn't compliment them, didn't give them words of affirmation. So they seek that elsewhere from friends and especially people they're dating. So that's a good point, Lee Jules, though. Okay. Tia says compliments can be more than physical. Wow, such a nice place. Great choice. This was so much fun. I do think validation is good. Jenna Morgan says both could say you look nice this evening or whatever time of day it is. But when I left the house, I knew I was cute, period.
Exactly.
And wait a minute. Let me see. Rochelle says, now, don't let them eyes overdo it. Yeah.
Yeah. I still have a reputation to maintain, so there's a limit to what I can do.
And Lee Jules says, when a man don't compliment, it's a problem. Men are visual creatures. I think both are visual. Well, that just me because the sisters like what they like. I was on first date and I was looking nice and handsome, and she was like, "Ooh, you look nice." You know, she didn't know how to act. I tell the rest of that. Okay.
Don't take the shirt off.
I ain't gonna start with y'all tonight. Okay. Teresa Brown Lewis says second dates and committed relationship. Yes, come with the compliments. Okay. But now I have a question though. That's a real quick question. Do you do it all the time? during the duration of the relationship? You know, at what point it stops being that you're pleased with how he or she looking and you're doing it out of mere obligation? You know, is there a cutoff point? Go ahead, Shell.
But are we relegating compliments to just physical appearance?
Okay.
Mhm.
Fair
That's my
question.
question, right?
Fair,
Because
yeah, fair question.
I mean, that's a bit limiting, isn't it? Are we just keeping it physical? Are we keeping it surface that way?
Mm-hmm. I get what you're saying. I was more thinking of the physical, but I mean the surface, but it probably could be just anything for that matter.
Yeah. Sending her flowers to her job. You know, that's a compliment too. Because first of all, you're showing that you're thinking about her and she's on your mind. And number two, you letting people know that she's spoken for.
Mm. Not spoken for.
That's why you send it to the job, right? So everybody at the
There you go.
office know that's mine.
That's mine.
Yeah.
That's right. That's
Duly
right.
noted, sir. Duly noted.
Mhm.
Okay. Okay. Shell, you grinning. Okay. Rochelle says the memory of that compliment still makes you. Oh, well, I'll tell y'all about it one day. Jenna Morgan says, right, I'm just as visual as a guy. I like someone easy on my eyes. And let's be honest, who doesn't? Who
Mhm.
doesn't? If you say looks doesn't matter, I don't believe you. I'm just gonna say that, leave it at that. Sincere and organic compliments, but not out of obligation.
Mhm.
And Nicole, everyone's love language is different. If you care enough, compliment them. Kitty says it's never out of obligation. You do it because that's what you desire to do. Oh, and Keena. Yes, the same way to catch me will be the same way you would keep me. Marriage requires stroking that fire. Okay, I hear you, Keena. I hope you show up at the after party. Baby, that breakfast was delicious. Also, it's a compliment. Oh yeah, definitely.
Yes.
Definitely. Nicole says compliments are free. Toya says, yes, I compliment during the entire relationship. I want him to know I notice him, the way he smells, acts of service, etc., etc., etc.
But when it gets to how he smells, that means that's close contact. Okay.
Well, when he's
Yeah.
opening the door, when you open the door for the lady, right? And you're going in, she has to pass by you. I mean, I know for me, if I'm walking by a gentleman who holds the door open and I walk by and it's just one of those scents that you just be like, oh, you can't help but be like, oh, okay. Oh, So it doesn't have to be super close. You can pass by and it just waft up, and it's nothing better than a good smelling man. I'm sorry.
Her whole facial expression just echoed that to me.
Come on, and you've never just walk and you just be like, wait.
Yes, I walk past many women that smell good.
So then it just, wait a minute.
But when you're talking about body smells, cologne is one thing. Fresh out of the shower is another.
Yeah. And there's something to be said about pheromones.
Yeah. So, you know, when you're in a nice embrace hug, yeah, then you can say, oh, yeah, I love the way you smell, because now you are right there at it. You're not just passing by it. You there.
True.
At it.
True.
So, yeah, when you're talking about how good a man smells, okay. What genre are you saying that? Are you saying because he walked past you and he has some nice cologne on? Or are you saying he smells good because when you was in his arms, you smelled him?
I mean, it can work both ways. You're right. It can work both ways, right? It can definitely be a cologne that works well with his chemistry, or it could be him.
I know
you hug and you get up in the neck or the chest, and you just
Yeah, it wasn't me open the door for and smell the perfume. I actually hugged. I smelled it.
Oh.
That was close contact.
Okay.
Ball game. He just like he passed by. No, I actually got a hug. And I'm like, oh my God, this woman, not only she looked nice, but she smells nice.
Hey, you can't beat that combination.
No, you can't. I'm just keeping it real.
You can't beat it with a stick.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And with that said, y'all, guess what? We's out of time. That hour went by fast. We are out of time.
But can we do one more, Mike? Just one more. I mean, it's not part of the thing, but they asked a question on The View this morning about role playing.
In regards to, Shell, me too. What kind of, I'm scared to ask this. Oh gosh. What kind of role playing? Oh,
and since this is supposedly a judgment-free live, I'm just curious because when the question was raised on The View, it kind of made me think about it too. How many people do role play? Back in the day, men would have their wives dress up like the French maid, things of this type nature. Maybe one with the long black boots with a whip, things of this say. In a marriage, does role play make a difference? And even in your dating life, because, we ain't got a whole bunch of virgins in here. So when you was doing your due, did you role play?
I think you should answer the question first.
Yeah, since you brought it up.
Well, I did to a certain extent, yeah, because it kept the relationship alive. It kept it vibrant. And it's healthy, because you don't want the same predictable sex day in and day out. Those kind of situations don't last long. When both parties know what you're gonna do. Oh no. You need to spice it up. Maybe take her to Victoria's Secrets and buy her some sexy lingerie. And let her do what she do. Bring in some other objects like whipped cream, like syrups, like chocolates, these type of things that keep things vibrant, keeps things fresh, and keeps things non-predictable.
I was waiting to see how far you was going to go. If you was going to go into the handcuffs and the I didn't know. I was waiting for handcuffs, paddles, and the like. I was waiting.
Some of that for your imagination, but I'm just giving the basics.
Look, I was like, let's see how far we gonna go here. Tell me more.
Mike is just covering his face up.
It worked well, so it does work. And women, if women be honest, a woman likes a little freakiness in her.
Well,
everyone
this should have been first, Mike. This should have been first.
They try. Sometimes they don't want to come off and show it, but every person has a little freaky side to them. And so when you tap into that freaky side, now it could be a problem if you start. And they brought up on The View today. If you bring in a third party in, where the woman like, well, baby, let's do a threesome. Now you got a problem. Okay, because now you interjecting somebody in your marriage. But as a couple, do things out of the box. Make it spicy, make it interesting, make it, you could be the doctor, she could be the nurse. Or you could be the massage therapist and she needs a massage. Keep things spiced up. That's what I'm saying. So role playing is good. And folks ain't never tried it. As I said, don't knock it till you try it.
And Tia says that date was good as heck. Okay.
And
Now-
that's why I say, Lord, send me my husband. Because I do believe those things are important and vital. And I look forward to that time again. God bless.
All right. Oh boy.
Oh goodness. Oh,
So,
God.
Mike,
Oh,
have
God.
you role played?
On that, Laverne,
You gonna do really?
Crazy
That's how we
said-
gonna do?
tell him to meet you somewhere in public and act like you don't know him and pick him up and take him home.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, okay. Folks, with that said, we out of time for real, y'all. Thank y'all so much. Thank y'all for being here. Thank you for everything. And let's go on with our announcements, shall we? I think announcements are in order right now. As soon as I can find them. Okay.
Find them quickly, please.
Coming up next, in about half past the hour, we will have our after party. We definitely gonna finish this conversation in the after party. And my biggest fear is they cut loose in the after party. So I don't know. I gotta take my nerves pill before I get up in there. And then this Saturday, we have our Saturday night social. We had a great time last week with trivia and everything. And we're gonna have a round table discussion. Shucks, we might need to talk about this. Who knows? I don't know. I have to pray for y'all. And next Tuesday Talk returns. But guess what? It's gonna be the Sisters Roundtable next Tuesday. Well, you know what we used to call meeting in the ladies' room, but that was too much to say. So Sisters Roundtable. So hey, get ready to do this. It's gonna be a good show. Oh, on that note, y'all.
That's be a real good show.
That's gonna be a real good one. With
Make sure you ask the tough questions.
Yes, we will. On that note, y'all. That's an evil laugh, Rachel. On that note, y'all. Thank you, Angela. Thank you. She did great on her first time here.
Yes, she did.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And hopefully she'll be here, especially next week. Good. Reginald, always good to have you here. You didn't. Thank you. That's all I'm gonna say is thank you. Though. It's Shell. Oh, I know. I'm glad you came back.
Mm-hmm.
You fit in with us a little too well. So thank you so much, though. And hopefully you be part of the next week's show as well. Thank you all for watching. Thank y'all for y'all support. Thank y'all for everything. So if it's the Lord's will, we'll see y'all next time. Until then, so long, everybody.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Night.
Something is wrong. Wasn't the words of my song, but I'm too tired now. What did I say to make you act this way? But I'm so tired now. I came along, I had to have some fun, but I'm tired now. You like to hurt me. You like to hurt me. Yes, you do. You like to hurt me. You like to hurt me. I've done my best, better than the rest, but I'm too tired now. I don't know what to do, but I know I will.